that I'm not going to tell you what he does, but obviously he works in and around contractors and works in the training and works with the military and police. I'll just leave it at that. And is a firearms expert. Let's just say an armorer is the best way to describe him. And most of his buddies are being sent as contractors to Afghanistan. He's been offered a lot of money. He's refusing to do it because of family. The point is that he confirmed what my other sources are telling me. We know they're training the contractors to take on the American people. That's admitted. But there's a total flip now where before it was 90% trained to fight in Iraq and Afghanistan, where they've pulled most of the troops out or pulling them out but are putting contractors in. Those wars are on. That conversion to mercenaries is happening. But it's one thing to get mercenaries to fight the foreign armies and foreign insurgents. Another thing to get them out at these training facilities and say, okay, now it's not 90% Hajis, as they call them. It's 90% gun owners, libertarians, conservatives, land rights groups, and they have role players. We're Americans, don't put us in the camp. You're not taking my guns. The same stuff you've seen me film at drills. That's not the big news. It's that they're flipping it to not just beta testing and creating small cadres to train larger groups. They're going fully operational. They admit even mechanics in the Army and Air Force are being trained in riot control. My cousin's told me that. He's an officer in the Army, 23 years in. There's a total conversion. That's admitted. But the issue is they're accelerating the conversion, and there's a mutiny because they tried to go out and I mean, they're going to veterans who are 50 years old, 55. They're going to out there and trying to get them in as a secret infraguard domestic army. And when the guys are told, oh, yeah, you're going to be fighting terrorists, but they get to the base and it's all right. Your enemy looks like this. And they basically, literally on video, demonize founding fathers. I have footage of that in that they show police in Missouri in my film Martial Law. Just type into YouTube, FEMA says founding fathers are bad, and you'll see FEMA teaching police this. Well, basically, it's that, but they say, get ready to go operational. And I've got this from multiple sources, but David, and that's not his real name, he has a lot of courage. He wanted to come in here on air and talk about this today. We were having dinner last night after some work we were doing, and I've said, no, you're not coming on air. We're going to protect you as a source, and you're going to get us more information. And I can open the phones up, too, after he's on. In fact, we'll do that. And you'll watch as police and military and contractors call in and confirm it all on air. But plus, we have all the documents. It's just it's a piece here, a piece there. You know, the re-education camp document for American citizens who won't accept communism. And again, it's big banks communizing us to steal our wealth, transferring it offshore. It's the mega rich funding that. All right, I'm going to shut up. David, I wanted to preface it. We're going to have you to the end of the hour. Tell us what these groups of people that they've tried to take and train, what's happening, because the news of the mutiny against this is big news that even contractors are saying no. Tell us what's happening, David.
Well, basically, we have training camps all throughout the United States for a lot of these military contractors. These military contractors are former soldiers that have switched over to the private sector for the benefit of more money. Unfortunately, with the way the economy is going and a lot less contractors being focused in the Afghanistan region, that's left them out of work, so to speak. So they are offering their services to really the highest bidder. We've been volunteering down on a certain location in South Texas with a company called International Training Incorporated that's really been focusing on insurgencies and things like that throughout the Middle East. So we've been volunteering as insurgents, and in that way it gives these contractors the ability to sort of get used to the environment of being ambushed on roadside bombs, driving through small villages and being attacked, things like that. But now what they're doing is changing the focus over to civilians, American civilians. They are looking for what they call domestic terrorists and mass civil unrest. I've heard terminology used and compared towards what's going on in Greece right now. And a lot of us volunteers had done this pretty much just to stay in the game. But it's one thing when we're helping units go overseas and maybe save lives or save American lives, but it's another when they start coming over here to train to oppress American people and label them so loosely as domestic terrorists or civil unrest. They could be defined as anything nowadays.
Now, David, breaking this down for people, the good news is, but there's also some bad news. What percentage of people like yourself that have worked with the contractors, playing the part of insurgents, playing the part of highly trained insurgents, what percentage are now refusing to be part of the let's go after people wearing John Deere caps of the new mission?
I would say 80 or 90%. A lot of us just turned our back on the whole subject. There's been various government agencies coming in to fill the slots.
That's the bad news. Explain what's happening there.
Well, you know, this company only accepts military, former military, active military as volunteers or recruits. So they're starting to tie in with government agencies from the FBI to DHS to ATF. And basically, the three of them are starting to send in these volunteers to replace us. And once we heard that, the number of that 80 to 90% is what materialized. It was, I would say, about 20 or 30%. But once we started seeing government agencies coming in to fill those gaps, you know, we started smelling something that we didn't like. And
this is a massive gear up. Tell us about the particular company, International Training, Inc.
International Training, Inc. is just fed up with G4S. They're basically one of the largest security contractors for the Pentagon. When Blackwater fell, these are the guys who picked up the slack. And they have considerable activity over the Middle East. Right now, they are the majority of security contractors in Iraq that everyone says that aren't there.
How big do you think their black division is, their hitman division?
Hitman division and something like that's really just, that's a pay grade. It's not a designation. These are people who fight for money. They don't fight for causes. And the problem is as I said, we have an economy that's
how much are they going to have to get paid to take on families and take the dads away so the government people can take the little toddlers away and have fun with them?
Well, I know it would be anywhere between $150,000 to $180,000 for a 9-month tour if you're going overseas. So I can only imagine that they would match that here.
Well, that's pretty cheap for somebody's soul.
Absolutely. And that's why a lot of us have turned our back. Not because it's cheap, because it's just not right.
You were telling me recently you turned down quite a bit of money to do some of this work. I mean, how much were they offering you?
They were offering me $180,000 to do escorts from Pakistan to Afghanistan for a 9-month tour. You know, because I have children, I just can't put that risk on my life. And if I was single, it'd be a little bit different. But at the end of the day, the way things are going, my family, there's just too many reasons not to do it.
So is this a pretty big, you were telling me, this is a big wake-up call in the police and military community. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. You were telling me about, you were having dinner with a retired three-star general, recently retired. And I mean, all this coming out in the open, the work and I and others have done, I think it's really waking people up now that this is so real.
Yeah, it's getting alarming. I mean, the individual I had dinner with, I'm not going to mention any names, but the individual I had dinner with had retired because of what's going on in the climate. He refused to do his duty, and he opted for retirement. He was at the age, he had the years under his belt, and he took it. He took it wisely.
Tell you what, stay there. I want to hear about that, folks. This is no joke. This is no game. We are in so much trouble. I mean, this is a foreign takeover of America. If you ever wanted to know how America would fall, infiltration. This is an infiltration. Sick of the globalists. Well, David was willing to come in studio and use his real name today and talk about all this, but I said no. But just amazing to find out that he's meeting with big groups of veterans, police types, military, and that they're really waking up. Well, you better wake up. I mean, FEMA sits there and says the founding fathers in America is bad on video. Right there, I mean, that's the enemy. Of course they're saying people that know what America really is are the bad guys. And there's the footage. FEMA says founding fathers are terrorists. Just type that into YouTube, 84,000 views. I was sent 18 hours of this, and I've had police call in and go, yeah, they teach us that. And that was from 2000. So now they're getting the contractors ready. Do you think this is going to fly, even if they have a false flag, David, a staged terror attack to make it look like domestic groups are working with foreigners or something? I mean, do you think the contractors are really going to buy into this and really try to go for gun confiscation and door-to-door arrest of people on pickup list?
These are men without the level of honor that most soldiers are out there have. They'll do whatever they're paid to do. At the end of the day, they use mainstream media as a marketing tool for their next big plan. A lot of the stuff I see, and then I see it in a news article 6 months later, which is completely false. But, the minority gets drowned out. No one wants to listen to us until they're actually brought into something like this, and then they wake up. Unfortunately, that's not a large number.
Let's go back to the 3-star general who got out because of this recently. Tell us what he was telling you.
Well, his conversation with me was primarily over Afghanistan. A lot of what we were discussing was lithium deposits and so forth that they announced about a year or two ago, that they found this huge, if not the largest, lithium deposit in the world in Afghanistan, which pretty much seals our fate there. But at the same time, we happen to know geologists for Texaco who found that exact same deposit about 25 years ago. It's not something you got to guess on. It's just adding 1 plus 1. It's really, you have something that's discovered, and then all of a sudden it's newly discovered, 23 years ago. And
it's a key, well, you can't discover it right before the invasion and admit it, because that's what it's about. And, of course, they admit trillions of dollars of it, one of the only big deposits. It's known as a rare earth mineral. It's needed for everything.
Yeah.
All the electronics, batteries, you name it, absolutely essential.
No, at the end of the day, there's so many lobbyists going into American government that they're using these security contractors and our own military as basically enforcement to get what corporations need. And I've seen it with my own eyes. It's just something that they want it, they're going to get it. How much is it going to cost them? And
they see America. They see America as that. I mean, look at the euro getting ready to implode. I mean, this is dangerous.
Well, there's also a reason why they've allowed a lot more gang members or gang-affiliated individuals into the U.S. Army and the U.S. Marines. Right now, we're at the highest rate of gang-affiliated soldiers. We're at 19%. These are primarily the large demographic who go into these security contracting bids when they get out, because otherwise, what are they going to do? Go put gangbang on the street? Why do that when you can continue doing what you're doing, making 6 figures?
I saw that. They keep busting gangs of Army Special Forces shipping guns and drugs back and forth and then hanging them out to dry, but it turns out they're really working for the Justice Department.
Yeah, I mean, they had a big incident last year with Navy SEALs doing that in San Diego. Southern California has been a hotbed for that. You got a lot of police officers who are responding to calls against basically gang members who are Marine Corps trained, and these cops are dying. They're not prepared for it. So there's a lot of interaction between law enforcement and the military to exchange tactics. And
well, Stalin did that. He took the criminals and made them his enforcers against the military. Stay there. I want to come back. This is so important. David is our guest. The defense contractors, new mission, kill America. All right, David, I've been bringing up a lot of points. We had up on screen for people watching on Prisonplanet.tv the big Texas training facility of International Training, Inc., where you'd told me that they're now converting over to take on the American people. Gotta love it. Take our tax money, squeeze it out of people, take old ladies' houses because they can't pay the IRS, and then hire mercs to go after the American people. I would not want that job. If they think Afghanistan has been a problem, boy, what are they thinking? Again, if you just joined us, David is giving us the intel. We know the contractors are training to take on the American people. That's not denied. But that there's a revolt against this. Comments on how you see this unfolding, and could our speaking out against this make this